Hi there, and welcome to Teacher's Perspective. Today we're going to be talking about 4 ways that you can really help your children at home, and it looks like my cat Mike is going to be joining us for this video as well. So, when I talk about ways that you can help your children at home, I am kind of regarding things outside of homework. It's likely if you're reading this or watching this video, as a parent, then your child is already getting work from school that they have to complete. Maybe this is an online task where the work has to be completed and submitted, or it's something on paper that you then need to take in, or your child needs to take in after the weekend or at the end of the week. And as I say, when I talk about helping your child at home or working with your child at home, I'm kind of speaking outside of the homework that's set by school. The reason for this is I think children need to understand something that you quickly realize as an adult, and that is that learning really is a lifelong process. It's not something that just happens in school. It is something that you must continuously do to improve your mind, improve your ability, improve your skills. If you're working in a job just now, I'm sure you have had to learn new things to be able to do that job better. You might have learned them at work, you might have learned them in order to get the job that you have. And so much of the learning that we do is done outside of school. So the very first one that I want to speak about is reading. Reading is by far the most beneficial thing that you can do with your child at home. This may be you reading a story to them, listening to them read, talking about a book or talking about a text that you've read together, even having them read off the back of the cereal box if that's what they're having. Now, the reason why it's so important is it's one of those things that the more you do it, the better you get. And the better you are at reading, the better you are at so many other things. At a lot of parent consultations, I do speak to parents about this and say any reading is good reading, but be specific about the type of reading that they do. Try and find the level that they're at from their teacher, find their interests, things that they enjoy, because that will really help them to develop a love of learning, a love of reading. And the benefits that it can have are that they can begin to educate themselves in their own interests. They can access books that they weren't previously able to access because maybe the words were too difficult or just the language that was being used was a little bit too high level for them. But as well as that, in school, it will support them with their English, with their writing, because they'll have more creative ideas. It will support them with their maths, with their problem solving, because they'll have to look and read problems within maths and actually sort of decide what it is that they have to do in order to complete the question. And it really does benefit them within that. And then obviously in reading lessons as well. The better readers they are, the better they will do in those lessons. So reading really is the first thing, and I would suggest absolute minimum 10 to 15 minutes a day. Do it as much as possible to the point where it becomes part of their routine, something that they want to do, something that they know has to happen, until they're old enough, they're mature enough, and they're enthusiastic enough to want to read themselves and pick up a book by themselves. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is, I'm just going to quickly get the correct one there we go, is arithmetic. And now arithmetic is the part of maths where you are manipulating numbers using the 4 operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So the reason why this is a good one for parents to help with at home is that a lot of parents have the ability to access this kind of work. They're confident using those 4 operations. For the majority of children in primary age, that work should be accessible for a lot of parents. But if it's not, it's very straightforward just to look online. A lot of people have phones, Google, laptops, things like that, where they can find out more about those operations and how to do it. Pretty much any question you're going to type it into Google and it will explain to you how to do it. Someone's probably made a YouTube video of it, maybe me. So really, arithmetic is something that children can thrive in. The better they are at arithmetic, the better they are in at maths in general, because the skills that they learn from arithmetic are then applied to the more difficult reasoning and problem solving questions that they will do in class. Because whilst understanding those questions is the first part, if they don't have a solid knowledge of arithmetic, they don't have good arithmetic skills, it's very hard for them to apply what they know to these reasoning and problem solving skills. And also by the time they get to year 6, one of the test papers that they will do is based entirely upon arithmetic. And if they know how to do it, it is an easy 20 marks. If you've put in the work and you've practiced it with them, really they should have no problems getting full marks on that test. Really, it is something that is overlooked almost because it just seems to be the basics, but really a good understanding, a solid ability in arithmetic helps children throughout all parts of maths. So I've talked about reading, I've talked about maths a little bit, and now I'm going to go on to writing. Now, writing's a little bit more difficult to teach, even within school. And it's something where it takes a lot of creativity, it takes a lot of thinking, it takes a lot of effort, because you're not just speaking, you're actually having to physically move your hand, pick up a pencil, pick up a pen, and get the writing out there. Obviously, these days you can also type, you can put it onto a laptop or an iPad and things like that. But really, in terms of getting those motor skills of handwriting and getting ideas down, I still prefer to write myself. And I think a lot of people, just to get their ideas, they need to actually be in contact with the medium that they are, with the medium that they're using to get their ideas down. Now, to help your child with this, get them to write about things that they know, first of all. Recount. What have you done today? Just simple stuff. And then from there, they can start to expand it. Well, can you describe a little bit more about that for me? Or maybe we could add something in here that creates a little bit more interest. I won't go into the full grammar and the spelling, punctuation and grammar side of things, because I don't want to overload with that. But really just encouraging children to write as much as possible really will improve their skills in it. And finally, I'm actually going to go back to maths, and it's to do with times tables. Times tables is something we can practice. There's plenty of apps out there. I'm sure your school will be able to recommend loads of things that your child can do to improve their times table skills. But times tables are so crucial to everything children want to be able to do in maths and need to be able to do, particularly with something like fractions, which is a notoriously difficult subject. And if children have good times table skills, it makes all of that so much easier, because they don't have to rely on working things out or looking up at a board to get the answers for times tables. It's like that. And when they have the ability to recall their multiplication facts as quickly as a couple of seconds, it just makes their whole life a lot easier. Now, you can practice it a bit of an old-fashioned way as well, simply just writing out these times tables, throwing games at your children with, asking them to answer questions in a set amount of time, or just dropping it on them in the middle of a car journey, asking them what they know about 4 times 6, how quickly can they answer that? And making it a game, making it a competitive thing, often stimulates children and makes them a little bit more interested in learning that sort of thing. But really try and reward them, try and get them to be interested in learning and developing their skills, so that, and really in time, they will see the benefit that it has in school, where things start to become a little bit easier, they're able to follow what's happening, they're answering questions a lot quicker. It really is useful for them. So obviously they're just a few ways. I would say probably the 4 of the easiest ways for parents to work with their child at home. But if you have any queries or any other suggestions, perhaps if you're a teacher watching, please leave it in the comments. I will try my best to answer as many of them as I can. Of course, always follow our TikTok, our Instagram, and our Twitter page, which will be up very soon. Of course, you can find more details about this on our website, which is www.teacherperspective.com. Thank you very much.